excuse me in this video a little bit. I do have a little bit of a cold, so hopefully that doesn't affect it too much. Tonight during my recording, it sounds like there's a little bit of wind tonight. Haven't noticed that until just now, so that's pretty cool. Last week we had a couple very good games. Titan and Nova Station was a close one, with Nova Station's wide receivers Brown and Aaron both having over 100 yards and a touchdown. Triton and Jupiter was a very good game. Pretty close affair. I forgot exactly how it went. Tether Station and Earth, I remember a little bit more. Tether Station in the fourth quarter got a blocked field goal, but still lost to Earth, not being able to do anything with it. And Mimis and Cydonia was a good game. Cydonia taking a loss to Mimis in an upset. And Pluto pretty much dominated Uranus. It ended up being a close score, but Pluto's wide receiver Shields and Jefferson both had over 100 yards and touchdowns to their name as well. So, we will begin writing the Week 7 lineup. This will be the last week in the first cross-conference series. Okay. This week we have Zeus Station versus Earth, Rockets versus Stargazers, the Tethys Station Insectoids versus the Apollo Moonmen, the Callisto Blockade versus the Tycho Impact, and the Uranus Xenos versus the Moscow Cosmonauts. Then in the next series we have the Saturn Smugglers versus the Nova Station Comets. Then the next game we have the Titan Frostbite versus the Venus Valkyrie. Then the Mimis Empire versus the Mars Rovers, and the Enceladus Rebels versus the Cydonia Martians. Then the last series we have the Triton Covenant versus the Europa Deep Ones, the Pluto Cosmos versus the Jupiter Hurricanes. The Neptune Trident versus the Ganymede Nebula, and the Charon Swarm versus the Io Eruption. Now let me write in my tracker for how many games they've won this series. Okay, now we will begin. Okay, I shall open the game real quick. Okay. Zeus Station Rockets versus the Earth Stargazers. First points of the game are late in the first quarter. A kick by Zeus Station, 3-0 Zeus Station. Top of the second quarter, Earth responds with a touchdown drive, capped off with a 3-yard pass to Evison from Luke, 7-3 Earth. Late in the second quarter, backed up on their own 23, Zeus Station throws an errant pass to an interception. Interception by Aaron Glenn. And Earth takes that and puts up a field goal, 10-3 Earth. In the third quarter, the opening drive is Zeus Station's, and they kick a field goal. It's 10-6 Earth. They manage to get the ball back and go down and kick another field goal, 9-10 Earth. Top of the fourth quarter, Earth gets a field goal of their own, 13-9. Then late in the fourth quarter, 3 minutes left, Earth gets another field goal, 16-9. Zeus Station is stopped on fourth down with 1:35 to go. And Earth goes down the field and kicks another field goal to seal the game at 19-9. Earth. So, Zeus Station maintains their lead in the first. And if Earth is going to bump up, it depends on Moscow's game. Next game, Tethys Station Insectoids versus the Apollo Moonmen. Opening touchdown drive from Tethys Station, capped off with a 35-yard reception from to Mallard from Gray. Following drive, Apollo gets a touchdown of their own. Sneagle 15-yard pass from Burks, 7-7. Late in the first, Tethys Station, the following drive gets a field goal. Not a lot of scoring for the top of the second quarter. However, with a minute to go in the second quarter, Furman punches in a 9-yard run for a 14-10 lead. And then with 8 seconds to go, 16 seconds on the clock, Gray heaves it down the field and gets a Hail Mary completion to Pomlu. And they go up 17-14 at Tethys Station. Apollo cannot do anything with their opening possession, but they get the ball back after a 3-and-out and go down 81 yards to put in a field goal, 21-17 Apollo. Apollo gets the ball back again and goes down the field and kicks a field goal, 24-17 Apollo. Gray on the following drive throws an interception to Magnum in the red zone. They get a stop, but then Gray throws another interception, this time to Peyton on Apollo's red zone again. So, 2 unfortunate drives from Tethys Station after the second interception. In 2 minutes and 46 seconds, Apollo goes down the field and hits Magdula. 24-yard pass from Burks with 7 minutes to go in the game. Tethys Station does manage to put up a touchdown after that, with 4 minutes left in the game. But Apollo receives, in the following drive, one play puts up a game-sealing touchdown, and Tethys Station cannot do anything else to close the game. The game ends 38-24. The next game is the Callisto Blockade versus the Tycho Impact. Tycho doesn't do much with Callisto doesn't do much of the opening drive, But after 2 series of 3-and-outs, Callisto has the ball back and kicks a field goal. The following drive, Tycho loses a fumble. Callisto goes 3-and-out after the fumble, but is in field goal range, so goes up 6-0. With 5 minutes in the first. 14 minutes and 17 seconds. Callisto has the ball, and Taylor is hit 17 yards down the field from Berger, and they miss the 2-point conversion and go up 12-0. 5 minutes left in the half. The last points are scored, and Callisto hits a field goal, 15-0 by half. Tycho goes 3-and-out the opening drive in the second half, and Callisto takes the ball, goes down 80 yards, and punches in a Watson 24-yard run on 3rd and 4. It is a draw play down the middle, and he makes them pay for it. They go up 22-0. Tycho then loses a fumble in the following drive, but are able to stop Callisto. Late in the third quarter, McCartney is hit for a touchdown from Kitchens after a 98-yard drive, 7-22 Callisto. 5 minutes left to go in the game. Granite is hit 39 yards down the field from Kitchens to go up 13-22. Oh, sorry, not up. They shorten the lead 13-22 after a missed extra point. 20 seconds left on the clock. They kick a field goal, and Callisto wins 22-16. the series. Uranus versus Moscow. The Uranus Xenos at home versus the Moscow Cosmonauts. The starting drive, Uranus has the ball and they fumble the opening drive about midfield. Well, actually, they fumble it after a deep pass, and it is recovered on Moscow's own 27. Pair of 3 and outs. Moscow has the ball after a good punt return on their own 53 on the 47. Excuse me. And after a 3-yard run, Hampton is hit 50 yards down the field from Massey to go up 7-0. And his buzzers on the second quarter, the last points of the half, is a field goal from Moscow, 61 yards to go up 10-0. And excuse me, that all happened in the second quarter because Uranus gets the ball out of half and throws an interception. So they start again with another turnover. Moscow then takes that and kicks a field goal. Uranus, with a minute left in the third quarter, finally puts up a field goal of their own. 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter, Suke gets a 4-yard run, going up 20-3. And with 14 seconds left, Uranus puts up the last points of the game. And 14-yard pass from Juke from Vermillion. Uranus loses 20-10. Moscow. So, after that, I'm going to write the records of all the teams in the ICC Earth. Apollo is first at 5-2. Then Tycho at 4-3. 3-4. 3-4. Moscow and Earth. Callisto is 4-3. Right behind Zeus's station. Uranus is 3-4, and Tethys station. Is 2-5. After winning the opening division series, Tethys station has lost 4 straight. Okay, next series. Okay. Now it is Zeus Station. Saturn Smugglers versus the Nova Station Comets. The opening drive by Nova Station goes 3 and out. But after a handful of back and forth punts, 1 minute left in the first, Nova Station kicks a field goal, 3-0. Saturn follows that with a field goal of their own. 2:23 left in the second quarter, interception by Glasgow. So, Matumbo throws a pick to Glasgow. And it goes to the Nova Station 48. And with 52 seconds left on the clock, Andreas hits his third or fourth rookie touchdown, a 6-yard run up the middle from the fullback. By half, it is 10-3. Saturn goes 3 and out in the opening drive of the third quarter. And then Nova Station, after the punt, fumbles it on their own 40. Saturn follows that with a field goal, 13-3. Gets another stop, and then Alexander finds Cashillon 43 yards down the field, and goes up 20-3. Nova Station follows quickly with a Brown 63-yard reception from Matumbo, 10-20. If you remember, he had a big game last week. Then Alexander, in the following drive, throws an interception to Ross. But they're able to get the stop. Saturn then goes down the field and kicks a field goal, going up 23-10. Nova Station's next drive, Matumbo throws another pick to Glasgow. This time, deep in Nova Station territory. And then Saturn kicks a field goal after that, 26-10. And that is the last point scored in the game. The game ends 26-10, Saturn. So I will write Saturn 5 and 2. Nova Station 5 and 2. Oh, one thing I forgot here is the winner of the series, I believe, did Apollo beat Cydonia. Wait, no. Apollo and Callisto, okay. So Apollo wins that series with the tiebreaker with Callisto. Excuse me. Now, my next headline. Okay. Sorry, I'm just looking at the stats. No one had that big of days for either team. Okay, now it is Titan. The Titan Frostbite versus the Venus Valkyrie. Venus opens the game with an onside kick recovery, giving them an extra possession. However, gets stopped. Titan then goes down the field and kicks a field goal. The following drive after that, Venus punches in a 1-yard run at the end of the first quarter, 7-3 Venus. Titan's next drive ends with a blocked punt. Venus recovers at the 12, and with one play, Christopherson hits Hines for a 12-yard touchdown, 14-3 Venus. 2 minutes left in the 2 minutes left in the first half after a Titan punt. Christopherson hits Sanders 6 yards down the field after a 96-yard drive, taking 7 minutes off the clock. So at 2:36, Venus goes up 21-3, gets the ball back again, and ends the half 24-3. They go 3-0 out of the half, and Titan falls with a field goal and 2 field goals in the third quarter. So going into the fourth, it is 24-9. Top of the fourth, Venus kicks a field goal of their own, 27-9. Titan, with 8 minutes left to go, finally punches in a touchdown, 27-15. It is a 12-point game. Titan gets a stop, and the following drive is able to hit. Redinger hits Crank 36 yards down the field for a touchdown, making it a 5-point game, 22-27. However, kick return is taken 100 yards by Fancher, and they go up 34-22. And Titan, unfortunately, cannot do anything with the rest of the game. And the game ends in Venus's favor, 34-22. Get a bit of a wordy headline, but oh well. Okay, next game, the Mimis Empire versus the Mars Rovers. First points of the game, after Mars goes 3 and out, a series of punts, and late in the first quarter, Lane hits a 16-yard run for Mimis, going up 7-0. Following drive, Mars kicks a field goal, 3-7 Mimis. Gets the ball back, kicks another field goal, 6-7 Mimis. And with 6 seconds left in the first half, Mimis kicks a field goal, 10-6, going into halftime. On the opening drive of the second half, Mimis takes 8 minutes off the clock and goes down the field 70 yards. Lane hitting Stuger 20 yards down the field for a touchdown, 17-6. Mars follows that with a touchdown drive of their own. Gustafsson is hit 17 yards down the field by Richardson, but they missed the 2-point conversion, 12-17 Mars. Top of the fourth quarter, after a 4-minute drive, Mimis hits a field goal, going up 20-12. They get a stop after a 3-0 on Mars. Mimis has the ball on their own 27. Unfortunately, after a wide receiver, Stuger gets 13, he fumbles, giving Mars the ball at their own 40. Mars then kicks a field goal from that, 15-20. Mimis follows that with a very long drive, kicking a field goal to cap it off, leaving 2 minutes on the clock, 23-15. Mars going 87 yards in 1:50. Roberts is set for a 3-yard pass by Richardson, and when they go for 2, they fail. They run up the middle and do not get it, not being able to tie up the game. Mimis holds on, winning 23-21. I think I put Nova Station here a bit prematurely. Because if Cydonia wins this game, they win the series and will be up 2 points on Nova Station through tiebreakers. So it is the Enceladus Rebels versus the Cydonia Martians. Sidonia opens the game with an 85-yard drive capped off by a 23-yard reception to McKee from Lattimore. Sidonia follows that with a field goal, 10-0. Enceladus late in the first hits a field goal, 10-3. Sidonia loses a fumble in the following drive, and Enceladus caps off after 37 yards, hits Watson for a 6-yard pass from Blunt, 10-10. 40 seconds to go in the first half, Enceladus goes up 13-10 after a field goal. Enceladus goes 3-0 after half, and Sidonia takes it and goes up a field goal, tying the game 13-13. After Enceladus punts, Sidonia has the ball again, and they fumble in the red zone. They get the stop, however, and then they are stopped. Enceladus is stopped, giving Sidonia the ball. 10 minutes left. And they go 83 yards down the field. And Lattimore hits Vitalis for a 32-yard pass, going up 20-13. And with 14 seconds left in the game, Enceladus Blunt hits Blue for a 7-yard pass, 20-20, tying it up. In overtime, Enceladus starts the game with the ball, and they score a touchdown. They have Sidonia on the ropes, 4-2. However, they convert and then turn that conversion into a touchdown, tying the game. Sidonia has the next possession, kicks it and gets a touchdown. Enceladus ties it up, it gets a touchdown in one play. Blunt hits Watson 25 yards down the field, but they miss the extra point, losing the game by a single point in overtime. 33-34. Unfortunate game for Enceladus, and makes me look a little goofy by doing that. So, Nova Station is 5-2 in second place. Sidonia is 5-2 in first place with 2 series points. And Enceladus is 2-5. Four games left to go. It is the last series. And we are starting it off with the Triton Covenant versus the Europa Deep Ones. I would normally give this game likely as a Europa win. However, Europa's had a rough start to this season, and Triton pulled off an upset, beating Jupiter last week, so we'll see. The game starts out with Triton's ball, and they kick a field goal. A long drive followed that by Europa, capped off with a Crawford touchdown reception from Skirter. A pair of punts after that, and then Triton goes down and punches in a touchdown of their own, but missed the extra point. Europa kicks a field goal, and then Triton kicks a field goal with 24 seconds left on the clock. At halftime, it is 12-10 Triton. Nothing much happens in the third quarter. Late in the third quarter, Triton is in the end zone and lose a fumble after a short run. Europa turns that into a punt, and after another punt, Europa has the ball again, takes 5 minutes off the clock, and kicks a 21-yard field goal. 6 minutes left in the game, and Europa is up 13-12. Triton takes their time after that, going down the field. They have 6 minutes to use, and they use most of it. 5:26 off the board, and with 46 seconds left in the game, Triton goes up 15-13. And with 30 seconds left in the game, Europa throws an errant pass, and Scrooter throws an interception, losing the game to Triton 15-13. Now for the series, I believe Ganymede has a chance to win it. So we'll see when we get there. Next game, however, is the Pluto Cosmos versus the Jupiter Hurricanes. Opening drive is by Pluto, and they go up a field goal. Jupiter follows that with an interception. Hopkins, errant pass, picked off by Hines. However, they get the ball back top of the second quarter. They tie the game with a field goal. And after a 10-minute lull period, Jupiter is finally driving and punches in a touchdown 4-yard pass from Hopkins to Gracie. 9 seconds left in the game, Pluto kicks a 36-yarder, cutting it down to a 4-point game, 10-6 Jupiter by halftime. Jupiter goes 3-and-out on their third quarter opening, but after a pair of punts, Jupiter has the ball again. They go 80 yards in 2 minutes. 1:32 left in the third quarter. Swift gets a 45-yard reception from Hopkins. Hopkins has to scramble out of the pocket, avoids a sack, and hits him deep. Top of the fourth quarter in the following drive, Marion hits Jefferson for a 29-yard pass, making it a 5-point game, 17-12 Jupiter. Hopkins then throws an interception, this time to Keem. And that was with 3:27 left on the clock. Pluto takes 2 minutes off the clock, and Marion finds way for a touchdown, and they go up a point after a missed 2-point conversion, 18-17 Pluto. And with 6 seconds left, Hopkins, instead of kicking the game-winning field goal, Hopkins finds Swift for an 11-yard pass, making it a 23-18 game, Jupiter. Okay. Now, this next game will decide whether Triton or Ganymede get the series point. So it is Neptune versus Ganymede, the Neptune Trident versus the Ganymede Nebula. Ganymede starts the game with the ball and kicks a field goal in the opening drive. They then force a punt and block it deep in Neptune's territory. However, go 4-and-out and have to settle for a field goal, 6-0 Ganymede. A bit of a dry spell. Actually, no. The following drive, Neptune goes down the field and into the top of the second quarter, kick a field goal of their own, 6-3 Ganymede. And with 7 after a punt by Ganymede, Neptune goes down the field and ties the game, 6-6. Those are the last points of the second quarter. looks like Neptune goes 3 and out to start the third quarter. Ganymede falls with a 3 and out of their own. And then, after a good punt return and a big play from Neptune, looks like a 51-yard catch to Edwardson. In the next play, in 2 plays, a 1-2 punch, Jenkins is at 8 yards down the field from Pimbleton. 2 big plays by Pimbleton, and Neptune goes up 13-6. Top of the fourth quarter in the following drive, Shamal finds Bentley 7 yards down the field for a touchdown, tying the game 13-13. Neptune follows with a field goal after a long 6-minute drive, 16-13. A pair of punts by the 2 team, and with 12 seconds left, Ganymede ties up the game 16-16. So in overtime, Ganymede hits a field goal with their first possession, and Neptune responds with their own field goal. In round 2, Charles is found 13 yards down the field from Pimbleton, going up 26-19. Shamal then responds with a 19-yard pass to Austin, 26-26. McVay, the fullback, in round 3, goes up 4 yards for a touchdown, and Ganymede, wanting to call game, does a 2-point conversion, 34-26. Neptune is brought to a 4th and 8 and converts. However, they are brought to a 4th and goal on the 10 and are not able to punch it in, sealing the game and the series point for Ganymede. 34-26 Ganymede. Okay, last game of the night. I'm going to write the headline real quick. Okay. Last game of the night. Charon Swarm versus the Io Eruption. I may have been a little too eager, because if Io wins this game, Triton, Ganymede, and Io all tie the point. Okay, addendum real quick. I forgot that Charon had their quarterback coming back this week. So the stats are going to be a little different. Sorry for the silence. Quick addendum. Okay, so I have to make... My camera's not adjusted because I just remembered. I have to make a error. So, Caron's QB West came back this week. And from his injury weeks ago. And so this is his first start since week 2, I believe. I'm just gonna quickly recap the game as it should have been. So, Caron opening drive, get a touchdown, get the ball back, get another touchdown. First touchdown pass to West to Battle. Couple of field goals late in the second quarter. Io gets a safety, so it goes into halftime, 17-5. Caron. Io throws away their Buchanan throws a pick in their opening drive, and Caron responds with a touchdown after that. Io blocks a field goal and then scores 12-24 by fourth quarter. West hits Pit Inc. for 89 yards down the field and scores a touchdown, a game-sealing touchdown at the top of the fourth, 31-12, and Io cannot come back from that. So, I'm sorry about that. That's a big mistake by me, but it's alright. We move on. 4-3, Caron. Ganymede wins the point. Io does not. They drop to 3-4, and Europa has that tiebreaker. So Europa is not in fourth anymore, but they are still a game behind Ganymede and 2 behind Jupiter, not counting the points. So I guess 3-2 games. And Caron is in the mix at 4-3. So sorry about that mix-up. Oh shoot! I don't know why I erased these. Okay, sorry about all that. Now, it is a good night. I hope you had a relaxing time. I know I had a fun time. This was a good week of games. And good night.